You're watching Showroom 18 and this is our comparison video of the Sony Xperia M2 versus the Xperia E3. We will look at the pros and cons of each device and help you to work out which of the two is better suited for your own lifestyle. In this video, the E3 is running Android 4.4.2 and the M2 is running Android 4.4.4. The E3 has a 4.5 inch screen with a resolution of 480 by 854 and a pixel density of 218, while the M2 has a 4.8 inch screen with a resolution of 540 by 960 and a pixel density of 229. There's a difference in the quality of the screens. The M2 is slightly bigger, but the E3 has scratch resistant glass. You might not be able to see this through the camera, but with both phones off like this, you can see the E3 screen is darker, which without a screen protector on is a fingerprint magnet. Both phones have a front-facing camera, the ear speaker, proximity light sensor and notification light on the front, a 3.5mm jack port on the top, a micro USB connection on the left, the power button and volume keys on the right, the main camera light and NFC connection at the back. What is different though is the front camera and proximity sensors are the other way around, as you can see, and they are above the Sony logo on the M2 with the ear speaker in the centre of them, and the main microphone to talk into is underneath, while on the E3 the ear speaker is above the Sony logo and the main microphone is on the front. The M2 has 3 additional design features that the E3 does not have, which is a quick camera button, holes for a strap and a media player light. The M2 is also quicker in terms of adding or removing your micro SD and SIM cards, as you can do that with this here, but with the E3 you have to remove the backing, which takes a little bit longer to do. The final design alterations is the speaker. You have a single speaker going all along the bottom of the M2, which sounds better when placing it on a table as it won't be covered up, but it is not as good when holding it sideways. The E3 has a small speaker on the back and the camera is over to the left corner. Both phones have a 1.2 GHz Snapdragon quad-core processor with 1GB of RAM and up to 32GB of external storage with a micro SD card. The M2 has 8GB of storage and the E3 has 4GB, but not all of that space is available to the user, as both devices you have half of that space used with pre-installed apps and space used by the operating system, which with the models I tested gave me around 1.3GB on the E3 and 4.2GB on the M2. Looking at the connectivity features, both devices have Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, NFC, FM radio, while the M2 has a DLNA and Wi-Fi Direct. With the sensors, both phones have a proximity sensor, accelerometer, ambient light sensor. The E3 has a gyroscope and the M2 has a compass and magnetometer. When first switching on the phones, even though one will load the first animation quicker than the other and then pause a moment before going to the next, and the other phone will then get to the next part quicker, by the time you're on the main screen they both get there at the exact same time. This is the same when using applications. Both run at the same pace as one another in games, videos and music applications. Having both phones set to the same brightness level, white balance and theme, if we look at the home screen, the E3 has a brighter washed out look to it in comparison to the M2. Looking directly at the screen, the M2 is showing richer colours but only slightly. If you look from another angle though, it becomes the other way around, and in games the M2 looks brighter and washed out and the E3 shows more richer colours, but they perform the same. The speaker on the M2 is much louder than the one on the E3, which makes it easier to hear when you are receiving calls or using media applications without headphones on. Now we are just going to look at the quality of the images and videos. We have gone over the list of camera features in more detail in the individual reviews of each phone. In the example photos, both were taken from the same spot. The E3 is more cropped and zoomed in, giving you images that look a little smudged in comparison to the M2. The M2's photos come out looking more sharper than the E3, but a little bit on the grainy side. The E3 does not have the best white balance either in comparison, as you can see in this example. It struggles to separate the blues from the white, which the M2 does this a bit better in both images and videos. Both cameras are not the best in terms of focusing and staying steady when recording. You only get the best results in well lit areas and stand completely still. This is the sound quality of the Xperia M2 and this is the sound quality of the Xperia E3. Both devices do have their pros and cons. The selling points of the E3 is that it was originally released at a lower price in comparison to the M2, which makes it more affordable with the exact same processor with some of the same features. It is a little bit smaller and feels lighter than the M2, and for me I preferred it as a personal phone to take with me to the gym and casual use. The battery also does not take as long to charge up on the E3 as it does on the M2, which can take a few hours to get back to 100%. Now the M2 makes for a better device during office and long days. While both phones have a great battery life, the M2 lasts longer. The screen size is not as squashed together as the E3, which is better for reading emails and writing notes. The internal storage is better on the M2, as I have mentioned on the E3 review. You're not left with much, and not all apps can be moved to an SD card, which can prevent you from downloading some games. I did not come across those issues with the M2. We hope this has helped you see the pros and cons of each device to work out which phone is more suited to you. If you want to watch more in the individual reviews, there is further information on each product, such as what is on the phone, call quality, and my personal experience with the device. The links for those videos are in the description, or you can click on the annotation.